Welcome to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We're live inside Muscatine Hy-Vee on 2nd Avenue in Muscatine, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Now, here's Tony Tone.
Well, what a difference getting a couple more hours sleep makes, right? Yeah, feel much better this morning, even though it's rainy and overcast again. And is it ever going to stop raining? Yes, I think it will soon, and we want it to because it's summer. And wasn't yesterday like the first official day of summer? The 21st? We have to wait till the 21st to have the first official day? I feel like I was sweating 21 days prior to that, and that's when I kind of say that summer is here, when the gnats have arrived and when you can go outside and get a good sweat in. Welcome to the program. This is Hy-Vee Today. My name's Tony Tone. We're inside Hy-Vee in Muscatine off Highway 61. It is Friday, the 22nd of June. Good to be here. That young man has a banana in a grocery cart. I need a banana. That's the Breakfast of Champions right there. We do have free produce for kids 10 and younger, and that's what they're taking advantage of. That's great to see. Stop out and see us. This show is definitely going to be brought to you by this keto-approved Starbucks drink. Tastes delightful. I don't know, Becky, my coworker at Starbucks, changed. And again, I'm holding this up, and I know what you're thinking. That looks like a milkshake. There's no sugar in here. And super low carb, high fat, good for me. But it looks like a milkshake. Becky changed up how she made it, and it's fantastic. Couple things before we officially get rolling. The keto cooking class with Chef Tess is nearly sold out. There might only be like 5 tickets left. So thanks to everybody that got a ticket yesterday. We have capacity for 40 people. They've gone quickly, and we encourage you to stop by customer service and pick those up. All right. Without further ado, let's get to our first guest, who is here for the first time. Jan, you know, Jan, that your last name is also the name of a 80s band.
Yes.
Okay, Jan Slaughter in the house with Community Action of Eastern Iowa. Now, are you a Slaughter fan, would you say?
No.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make... Now, if you were, that would have been cool. We could have played you in with some Slaughter. But we won't. We'll stick to what we're here to talk about. I love when people bring props on the show because they look so good. And we're going to get to the school supplies in a second. But I wonder for folks that are watching, and myself included, I certainly have an idea of what happens at Community Action of Eastern Iowa. I know where you're located. But for people that are watching this, let's just kind of give them an overview about what's going on in your office on a daily basis.
All right. Well, community actions cover all 99 counties in the state of Iowa, and there are 17 of them in Iowa. And Community Action of Eastern Iowa covers 4 counties, Scott, Clinton, Cedar, and Muscatine. So today I'm going to talk about our office in Muscatine. We provide services to families and programs to families with lower income. And some of the programs that we have are our heating assistance program, or LIHEAP, weatherization. We're doing a cooling program right now with fans and air conditioners. We have our child care resource and referral department that helps providers and parents with child care, Head Start preschool. We are also contracted with the state of Iowa to provide disaster assistance and case management.
I didn't know that.
So that's just a few of the different things that we do. I could list off many more, but anyway, we are located inside the Muscatine Mall, and
as far as people that need assistance, do they show up or do you prefer that they call? Because you do have a variety of services, and for somebody that's watching and they had I assume that hopefully people watch this show and they have some light bulb moments where they're learning something they might not have known. So somebody that could be dealing with, not having enough cooling, should they reach out to the office or should they come out to the mall? Which do you prefer?
Well, they can either way. We do walk-in services. We also can offer appointments. But a lot of times, if the family doesn't know what to bring in, a phone call may save them a trip when they don't have everything that they need. Typically, the family has to provide proof of income and maybe some other documents.
So, yeah, and that has to be expected, of course, right? I mean, there's a process for everything, but, I imagine that. So let's walk me through it. Let's do a little role playing. So if I needed an air conditioner, and I brought in all the paperwork that I needed to have, what's the turnaround time within the Community Action of Eastern Iowa to get folks set up with air conditioners or fans? Like, is it within a week? Is it 2 weeks?
Well, fans are pretty quick. Fans are usually the same day when they come in, they walk out with the fan. Air conditioners take a little bit longer.
Sure.
They have to be medically necessary. We only have a few of them. So they will have to go to a doctor and have them sign off on their qualification for that. If they're a renter, the landlord must also agree that the air conditioner be on the property.
And we have the website pulled up, and that's perfect. So there you go, fans and air conditioners. Because, you know, again, Jan, it's been hot, and there's people out there that are sweating it out, and it's not their choice. You know?
Right, and a lot of our families live in mobile homes. And if you've ever been in a mobile home in the summertime in Iowa, it's very hot.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're very much needed.
Around, right? Yeah, and I think again, we talk about the services that you guys are providing, which are wonderful, but we need to continue to break the stigma of people not wanting to ask for help sometimes, right? And I know that that's probably something in your office that you work on, is just letting people know that it's okay. I mean, that's what Community Action of Eastern Iowa and Muscatine's there for. Like, you would cease to exist if people weren't coming in and saying, can you help with this? So, but my thing is always, like, if you need help, I know that we're all prideful people, but, you know, things that you don't want to potentially harm yourself or others with, things like heating or cooling, you know? It's like, that's where we want you to take advantage of these resources and reach out. On the table, school supplies. Now, Jan, it's summer break. There's no school going on.
Right.
Which is not entirely true, of course. And I'm glad that you brought these, and we're getting a good shot of them. Thank you, Betsy. So there's school supplies that you guys would love for folks to drop off to help out, because, listen, the school year is going to be here really quick. So what needs have you identified in the Muscatine Community School District as far as what you need folks to bring out?
Well, we do a school supply distribution every year, and it's for families in Muscatine County with lower income. And it was probably started back in the 1980s, and we were probably serving, 400 and so kids. It was really a generic kit based on elementary school or high school. And we found out as the years went on that we were getting more and more children that needed the school supplies. And we were getting toward the middle of August, we were running out of school supplies. And the worst thing that we want to do is ever turn a child away that needs school supplies. We started the school supply program based on a needs assessment our agency had, that families indicated that they were really struggling to come up with the extra money. You have housing expenses to pay, utilities, and they didn't always have that extra. I mean, myself, when my 3 kids were in school all together, I was buying 6 pairs of tennis shoes because they'd run out, the school shoes every day didn't fit. And then they needed a pair of gym shoes. And then I had school supplies on top of that. And if you've seen the school supply list, they're a page long. So it's really helped the families a lot. So we kept going on, and at one point, Band Egg was bringing over some supplies that they collected, and we were like, hey, how can we maybe have other businesses and people help? So we started a donation program where corporations gave us donations, and we started asking the public in different service organizations, if you want to do a project, we need the school supplies. Because when the economy was pretty bad in the 2000s, late 90s, we were serving 1,000 children.
Oh my gosh.
So we went up to 1,000 kids. We would have never been able to do it without the corporations in Muscatine pitching in. So last year we served, 500 children. We're back down, but it's still a lot of children and a lot of supplies. So we just want the public to be aware of the program. There's a program going on right now, Sweating for School Supplies, that we actually are the recipients of that, and we'll distribute it to the children.
Nice.
But individuals, organizations that want to help out,
Sure.
you bring donations out to our office.
Yeah, and for if people are watching this and they work in an office and they want to get involved and have a little office school supply drive and then bring it out to the Community Action of Eastern Iowa office inside the Muscatine Mall, that would be great, right? Get
Yes,
your coworkers
absolutely.
motivated, because you're right, Jan. That I see the school supply list now, having a soon-to-be first grader, and I think, wow, like even for preschool and PK4 and kindergarten, I was looking at the list thinking like, this seems to be a lot.
Yeah.
So and my wife and I are in a position where we can go out and get everything on the list and not have to worry about then not being able to pay for something else. I mean, we're not rich by any means, but that's not a concern that we have. So I can certainly understand where families are thinking like, there's no way that we can get everything on this list and still make it, because it can add up. I mean, if you just look at everything that's on the table that you've brought, I mean, you're probably looking at easily, I would say just right there, $25 to $35.
Yeah, we're
if I had to
not. This
estimate
isn't
it.
even everything we get out for a kid.
Sure.
Some of them are pretty hefty. When you get into 4th to 6th grade, middle school really has a lot of supplies.
Don't tell me that, Jan. I'm not ready. I remember when I had to buy a TI-80 Smarter Than I Am calculator, how much that was and how much I didn't use it because I was so bad at math. I did play Tetris on it, which probably was leading to me being bad at math. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it only gets more and more expensive. So is there a specific date that Community Action of Eastern Iowa distributes these supplies? I mean, obviously you want to keep collecting them, but then is there a date? Is it that week before school starts? Is it the week leading up?
Yeah, actually, that's the funny thing is when school is getting out in May, that's when we start working on this program, which,
Sure.
as you said, it's summer and people don't think about school supplies. We actually start taking applications in July.
Wow.
So
Okay.
July 2nd, we'll start taking applications with families. It's a really easy process for a family that's been to our office and we've already verified their income. It's just a quick phone call to us to update. And then we're going to do our distribution in August.
Okay.
So we'll get our donations to us by the end of July, and we'll be ready to distribute in August.
Sure.
And we're actually having our second back to school day out at the mall
Okay.
in front of our office for the families, talking to a few agencies and groups that have some services to offer for families who are wanting to get ready for school, like back to school care, parenting programs, public health. It's got programs. We're going to have dental screenings.
I think that's fantastic. And I know that, you have a lot of folks, you talk about the support from businesses in the community. And by all means, if you want to recognize some of them that have been there over the course of the years, please feel free to. Because Muscatine, we are able to support so many different organizations, fundraisers, causes, whatever, because of the community of businesses and individuals that give so much. So by all means, if you want to recognize them,
Sure.
that's great.
Well, last year we received donations from All Steel, CBI Bank and Trust, First National Bank, H&I Tech Center, Hahn Company, Accentra Credit Union, Marine Credit Union, Amerigroup. Hy-Vee actually had a collection bin in the store.
Cool.
So the collection bin's something new we've been trying out. The H&I Charitable Foundation also provides matching funds. We get support from Carver Pump. They donate
Awesome.
supplies. Hy-Vee has also in the past given us the grocery bags for the kids.
Sure. Yeah.
We turned our school supply program into a shopping program. So the kids actually can take a bag and go through. Gives them ownership. They can pick out which box of crayons they want, the color they want of their scissors. I think that's really important. And every kindergartner will leave our office with a backpack. They're really excited. It's just a great way to start their education, the start of their 13 years of education.
I would say this to folks, and maybe this is something that people do already, but if you're watching this as an individual and you want to give back, it could be just as easy as buying a backpack, filling it with supplies, and then bringing it to your office.
Correct.
I love the fact that you're giving out backpacks. And the idea, like you said, to let the kids pick out their own supplies, that ownership is so important. It's
right.
Because you don't want them to feel like they're showing up to school on the first day with stuff that they didn't pick out or that they're embarrassed of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, I remember going school supply shopping. You know, I'm not that old. I mean, I know I'm older, but I certainly remember going to the store and wanting to pick out the new Trapper Keeper, or making sure you had certain kind of pens or pencils, and even things like the new cool backpack. So I think that is so great that you're able to do that, to give them that ownership, because that can really just give them such a peace of mind and a great start to the school year. Because we know that kids have to have a good start if they want to, carry that with them throughout the course of the year. It's like saying waking up and having a good breakfast will set you up for a good day. It's the same thing with being prepared that first day and not being able, we don't want them to look at their peers and be jealous, or for them to be upset because they don't have the same things. And the fact that you're doing this, it's just great.
And that's another thing, is we don't give our children any used school supplies, because every child needs the new school supplies. I wouldn't send my kids with used school supplies to school. No child needs that. So that's one important thing when we get donations. If they're used, we pass them on to another organization, but we will not give those out. Yeah,
so keep that in mind, and please consider getting involved if you're able to. We have to have you come back because there's so many other services we need to dive a little bit deeper on. So please come back on the show. And I'm so glad, again, to have you guys here. And right there on the screen, we're looking at ways that you're able to help the community at Community Action of Eastern Iowa, from Head Start, family support, family development, finding child care. This is a lot to manage, but again, it's so vital. Winter coats, yes, think about that. And then the child care providers, just quickly, that can be an important thing for families. You're so excited, you have your first kid, and then you have that thought of like, oh, I have to go back to work, and where is this child going to go? That is such a big deal, Jan. I mean, it's, you're entrusting this life that you created and that is at a very early state into someone's care. So, I know that that's an important thing that you guys are doing as well, right?
Absolutely. We have an early Head Start center that is prenatal up to 3 years old. So that's an option for some of the lower income families to try to get into that. Infants and toddlers, and then we have our regular Head Start.
That's fantastic. Ryan, let's give all the contact info on the screen if we could. Ryan and Chad's for the Community Action of Eastern Iowa inside the Muscatine Mall. Lupe, must she get camera shy, or is she busy?
We were short-staffed today.
I'm sure she might be watching, or she'll see this. I'm just kidding. We'll get you back on. So right inside the mall, Community Action of Eastern Iowa. Phone number there. Can we scroll over to the right a little bit? I think there might have been additional contact info. Certainly you can't miss it when you're in the mall.
No.
Easy to find, that's for sure. And then, let's go to the right a little bit. Is that Cedar County location too? Hey, people are going to watch this in Tipton. There you go. 101 Lynn Street. Shout out to everybody in Tipton. Jan, keep up the good work. I'm so happy that we made the connection. And again, come back, because I want to really dive into some of these other programs that you're administering to serve the community, because you're doing a great job.
Sure, I'd love to.
Thank you so much. And the school supplies, again, look fantastic. All right, and speaking of school supplies, as we transition between guests here, we're going to send Betsy in the Toyota Muscatine cart cam. Betsy, you know what aisle, I think, right? She's like, oh yeah, Tony, yeah, right. I don't need to tell her anything. She knows where to go. She knows the store better than I do. So she is going to go down the aisle where we have our things like school supplies, pen, paper, markers, crayons, and we'll just show you, because you could very easily come into a place like Hy-Vee, grab some supplies, and then take them to the Community Action of Eastern Iowa office. It would be just that easy. So here comes that left turn. There's Rita. Rita's going to love the fact that she's on camera. Oh, Rita was not excited about that. Not excited at all, but that's okay. Rita does watch the show, and she's great. So there's all the kid stuff, some Hallmark cards on the side, and then we're approaching the part of that aisle where the school supplies are. And Jan, if you want, I can help you out. If you want to bring the box over, we'll load you up. That sound good? Unless you want me to keep the erasers. I could always use an eraser or two.
I thought you were going to want to keep the crayons.
The crayons are the best. Yeah. All right, so there you go. Look at that. School supplies. Boom. I had to get a pack of pens the other day, and I actually need some notepads and stuff. So I'm going to have to visit that aisle myself. And I think what we'll do at my house, because we're always working on teaching our kids the importance of giving back, I think my wife and I will get 2 backpacks, and we'll go shopping and fill them up and get them out to the folks at Community Action of Eastern Iowa, because it is important to start your kids at an early age so that they have a sense of community and giving. That is for sure. Thank you again. Please come back, okay? Come back on Monday, as a matter of fact. I'm just kidding. I'll reach back out. Thank you, Jan. All right, so there we go. Good-looking cart cam action. And we're going to have some fun this weekend, weather permitting, of course. Now, certainly a break from the heat with all the rain isn't a bad thing, but did you watch the radar at all yesterday? Because the weather usually goes from west to east, but then it went west to east, and then it just came back. And I was looking at the radar, and I'm thinking, no. And if I may for a moment, how do we not have a piece of technology? Now, this might sound crazy. And we're going to get our next guest situated over here. If Ryan Broderson will stop talking to him for a second. We're going to, how do we not have a piece of technology that can't, at this point, shoot something into the clouds and break up a storm like that? Right? Because there were funnel clouds in that system yesterday. How do we not have something that we can not shoot into the clouds and it breaks up the storms? Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, we should have that in 2018. Somebody should be able to make a piece of equipment that you can launch into the clouds and break up a storm. That's just where I'm at. All right, so as we get our next guest ready, let's go to the CBI Bank and Trust aisle cam and see what's going on in the mega produce sale here at the Hy-Vee, as some people would call it. There you go. Good-looking shot of produce. Oh, yeah. Big old produce sale through Sunday right here. You got to stop in, take advantage of these deals. And I'm going to tell you again, that's the freshest or the most fresh produce department in Muscatine. Yeah, we got a customer right there doing some shopping. You're going to take advantage of some great savings all throughout the course of this weekend. I'm going to scoot over because we got 2 guests coming in hot, everybody. So check that out for sure. Come out and see us and get all the produce that you need. Yesterday I had like a baby watermelon. Could have just taken a bite out of it. That thing was perfect. All right, so our next guests are getting situated, and I'm just going to start out by saying I didn't do it, and you're going to understand why in just a moment. So from the Muscatine Police Department, we have Officer Patel to my right and Officer Rink. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. I didn't do it, first of all. I didn't do it.
Guilty people always say that.
Yeah, is that what they say? Now, you guys, you might not both know this, but my dad's retired Chicago police officer. I've been around cops and firefighters my whole life. But I love when I got to work this morning and somebody said to me, "Do you know what's going on?" And I said, "I don't know. What are you talking about? Did you look out in the parking lot? There's 2 police vehicles." And I said, "What are you hiding?" And they freaked out a little bit. What's nice about having both of you here is you both have canine officers, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So Jax is with you, Officer Rink.
Yep.
And Officer Patel, it's
Nero.
Nero, that's
Yep.
right. I know
Yep.
Nero. Remember that one time a couple years ago?
We did an interview. That's right.
And then we walked out, and you said, "Just walk up to the car." And Nero was really excited to see me approach the car. These canine dogs are intelligent, is putting it lightly. I mean, they're really an asset to the police force. And before we kind of dive into that a little bit, there's a bulletproof vest, Officer Rink, that recently got for Jax, and Officer Patel, you have one as well for Nero. But Officer Rink, this how long ago did you get the vest for Jax?
It's been in the works for probably the last 2 months or so.
Okay.
But we just officially got it about 2 weeks ago-ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's pretty brand new still.
I was going to say, so is it heavy?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty heavy. It's pretty similar to like our vest that we wear. I don't know if you want to hold it up and feel it.
Oh, yeah. Jeez,
it's pretty heavy.
Jax, and I know that Jax is strong, but that's got some weight to it. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
So, and I'm also assuming, and you know, I don't know how much you want to go into the specifics, but this has got to be relatively expensive as well.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, they run about $1,000 to $1,200.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive.
Now, for most folks that understand how a canine can be beneficial to a police department, it would almost seem obvious that having a bulletproof vest on the canine, but that's not the case. I mean, you almost have to go through, I mean, who paid for it? That's what I'm trying to get at. I mean, where the programs that help out, is it in a budget? Because most people would just assume maybe, well, you got a canine dog, it would make sense to keep them safe, but that's not the case yet. Right?
Yeah, so really quick, I'll let Officer Patel talk about his here in a second, but ours was really cool. So we had somebody from the community actually reach out to a nonprofit organization out of Jupiter, Florida. They're called the Mona Pants Foundation. Among a lot of things that they do, one of the things is they help kind of orchestrate securing funding for police dogs to get bullet and stab resistant vests.
Wow.
So we got nominated by them. They kind of orchestrated the whole ordeal. There were several people from the community that assisted as far as donating money towards it, and they ended up raising enough funds, and here we are. So it was cool to see the community come together and kind of help us get the equipment that he needs. So
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you're wearing a vest, you know, you want to keep your partner
correct
safe, and your partner is Jax and Nero.
Yep, yep.
So, Officer Patel, how long ago, and there's some great shots, they're such great looking dogs. Jeez Louise, how long ago did Nero receive the vest?
His was probably about 3 years ago.
Okay.
We went through a different organization. We actually put in for a grant for vested interests in canine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a national grant that offers canine vests to dogs all around the country.
Sure.
Pretty much it's all the funds that these vests are purchased from are either privately donated or
Okay.
publicly donated. So when they issue vests out, you just kind of have to get lucky. And there's so many people that love dogs. You know, finding donations for equipment is never an issue. And unlike Jax's, it's very, very similar. But
Sure.
it's the same thing that we wear to protect them. So.
Now, all the training that Jax and Nero have to go through, how has it been getting them comfortable in the vest? Because it has some weight to it. They weren't maybe trained wearing it. I don't know. Correct me if I'm
Correct.
wrong. So is that additional training that you have to go through to make sure that they're okay? Because I'm imagining they're probably not thrilled to have it on a lot of the time, but you also want to have it on them. So,
yeah. The typical vest that he wore or like trained with for the first 3-ish years of his life was nothing like this. It was very lightweight. He didn't even feel it. We've done a lot since we've gotten it as far as just putting it on him and letting him walk around and get used to it.
Sure.
I tell the story the first time he had it on, he was like kind of wobbly, almost like he was maybe, you know, had a little bit too much to drink or something because he wasn't used to the wasn't used to the weight. But we've thrown it on him several times now and gotten him used to it, and now it doesn't even faze him. Now it's like he doesn't even have it on.
I just don't understand, and again, I've been around law enforcement a lot with my dad, and certainly not more of a stranger when it comes to canine, but like if you watch Cops once and the police show up and they have a canine dog, why would you ever run? Like if you did something bad, that dog is not only going to catch you, it's going to take you down in not the most fun way. But if you're doing something bad, I mean, that's what Jax and Nero are there for. But are you still surprised, and I'm going to have to tread lightly, but are you still surprised when you're deploying Officer Jax or Nero to apprehend a suspect that they're running? Like, you know that they don't stand a chance. But you're just sort of like, go ahead, Jax, go ahead, Nero.
Given the command canine, police canine, stop. Usually that's enough for most people to say, all right, I don't want to mess with the dog.
Right.
That's the thing I think a lot of people that underestimate having the dog is they're more of a deterrent than anything else. You know, Can they bite? Will they bite? Absolutely. On command they will, but what they're really there for is a deterrent. When people see canine or when they hear us making our canine announcements or even hear the dog barking or going crazy, usually that's enough for people to say, oh, no way, I don't want any part of that. That's enough for me.
But we also want people to understand that, like, and there was a great picture of, like, kids petting, I don't know if it was Nero or Jax in that picture, but like, you know, they're trained to do what they need to do when they need to do it, but they're not just always on edge.
No,
correct?
Our dogs are great. They're very, very social dogs. We've always trained our dogs to have a good on-off switch. So when they're at work, and under certain circumstances, they know, hey, it's time to work. But when we love doing demos with kids in schools, I'll pop a tennis ball in his mouth, and all he wants to do is just go run through the kids. So he's got a great on and off switch, but they definitely know when it's time to work and when it's time to play.
And that's just it. And the other thing, so the training that goes into it, and again, I believe that it's such an asset for community and for the police department. They're your dogs, right? They're with you. Is that correct?
They're city property,
right?
So they belong to the city of Muscatine.
Taking care of.
Yes, they're absolutely parts of our family.
Yeah.
I mean, they come home with us. They go to work with us. We joke all the time that we spend more time with the dog than we do with our wives.
Yeah.
So, and they don't get a big thrill out of that, but it really is true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they do everything we do. They come to work at the same time. They're at home at the same time. We play at the same time. So, they're definitely members of our family.
And that's how it has to be. I mean, I just want people to understand that you can't just go out. You can't just show up to. You couldn't just show up to work every day and say, "All right, Jax, let's go to work." Like, you need that bond.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
And probably goes both ways. But certainly, Jax and Nero need that bond. They also need to understand, this is my guy.
Yep.
And when it's time to go, I got to work. And that probably does so much for them. And I'm sure that was part of the training. So let's go there for a second. How long do a Nero and Jax get trained before they, show up on the Muscatine Police Department and are out helping?
Yes, that's funny. We were just talking about that before we came on. So the actual class that we go to, we went to Von Lick Kennels in Denver, Indiana. The certification class that you need to put the dog on the road is the one that we went to, was 6 weeks long. That's Monday through Friday, 40-plus hours a week of nothing but training, getting used to the dog.
Wow.
For the most part, the dog kind of knows what he's doing, and it's just a matter of us kind of figuring out how to get along and let him do what he knows how to do. But yeah, so the initial training is 6 weeks, and then we're constantly training. Every shift we try to do stuff, days off. We get monthly canine days where it's nothing but 10 hours a day of training. I mean, we're constantly honing their craft and making them better and better. So
it's such a perishable skill. I mean, it's something that we just have to reinforce every day. And I mean, we'll falter too. The dogs always do great. We're the ones that falter as well. So we need to keep our skills up with the dog.
Is it always German Shepherds? I mean, is that...
No,
there's
it's a preference.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as dual purpose goes, meaning the dogs that do bite work and narcotics, there's usually about 3: the Belgian Malinois, the Dutch Shepherd, and the German Shepherd.
So my dad has a German Shepherd, and she's just she looks like, she looks scary, but she's just a big old goofball teddy bear. When it comes to that narcotics work, so again, that's where, multifaceted for sure. Jax or Nero can be used to apprehend somebody if they need to. But when it comes to finding narcotics, they're incredible at it.
Absolutely.
Like they could walk into a place like this and, I tried to tell all my coworkers to leave it at home. Kidding. But I mean,
it's not just drugs though.
Okay.
I mean, our dogs are also trained to track people. They're trained to find human odor on articles. So if we have somebody run and they toss a weapon, dogs are trained to hone in on that. So their noses are just so strong that they're not specific to just narcotics.
Sure.
They're specific to narcotics and human odors. So
and that's where like a missing kid would come to play.
Missing
they could
kids,
smell a shirt or something.
Bad guys that run away from us.
Sure.
They're trained to track crushed vegetation in the ground along with human odor.
Wow.
And they're tracking it to what they smell is the weakest to the strongest. And they do the same way with drugs. So they want to always go to the strongest smell they can, and that's usually where either the bad guy is or the drugs are.
That's fantastic. Did you know, gentlemen, that we're sitting here on the 22nd of June, and it is, and this is legit because I Googled it, and everything is true on the internet. Today is National Take Your Dog to Work Day. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That's
no idea.
Pretty good deal, right? Good
Yeah.
timing. And that's not why you're here, certainly. I just found that out this morning. Your work is with your canine at
Correct.
every shift
Every
that you're
day.
on,
Correct.
right? Every
Every
day.
day.
And again, in best case scenario, Nero and Jax are hanging out and not having to take down folks. But again, that's where that switch comes into play.
Absolutely.
And when they're working, they're working. So just think about that if you're watching this, whether you're with us live or on the rebroadcast or at some point throughout the course of the weekend. Like if you guys are working 8 to 10, 12-hour shifts, Jax and Nero are right there with you.
Absolutely.
Every day.
Yeah, I mean, every day. That's it. Like, there's no, I mean, I don't know if you give them a day off or not, or when you're off, they're off, certainly, probably. But I mean, that's something else to consider. And when you see the vehicles with the canine on it, that's what's going on. So yeah, a variety of ways that Jax and Nero are able to serve the force, and that's important. And certainly with the training, they wouldn't want these canine dogs to just be used for one thing. Like, it wouldn't almost be worth it, right? You want them to be able to help track people with smell out narcotics or whatever. And look, there's some great pictures from the schools, so that just goes to show you that switch exists.
Absolutely.
That's in my eyes, that's just as important, because it's the community that allows the police department to buy these dogs.
Sure.
And I think a community should understand that these aren't just trained bite dogs and that's all they do, that they do have a human side to them.
100%. And it's so great for the kids, again, any opportunity, because not everybody grows up with, a father or mom in law enforcement. I mean, that was just my life, but, it's so important to have a good relationship with your police department and your fire department and getting out and being in front of the public, because, you just want people to understand that when you're in need and you dial that 911, that people are there to help. Right? It's not like you're out. Now, certainly part of your job is out looking for things that might be going on that people don't want you to know about. But, I've had to call 911 a couple times in my life, and I felt good each time I made the call, because I know that people like yourself are out there to show up and help, no matter what it is.
If you call, we're coming.
Yeah.
So.
And I've had to tell my kids, like, don't call ever if it's not an emergency, because that's not a fun thing to have to deal with. And I think with the advent of smartphones, it's almost gotten easier to, I don't know. I've never butt dialed 911 because I got to scan my thumbprint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Back in the day with the old school rotary phone, you could have a kid get on there or even just type it in. So, and the answer can be no, but I wonder, like, would one of you be able to bring Jax or Nero in? Not in front, but like even just to walk behind.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Want me to go grab him?
Is that cool?
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. We can bring him in.
My boss, Jim Simmons, is right there, and I mentioned this to him a couple weeks ago, and he was like, awesome. So, and that's how I feel, too. So Officer Rink's going to go out to the vehicle, and Jax will come take a stroll behind. Corporal Patel, lots been going on, man. I want to know, and if you can answer this, has it been a quiet summer so far in Muscatine? And I know these are weird things to ask, but
no, I feel like it has been. I don't want to say the word, because that's when that's when it usually gets the other word that I don't want to say. But
sure.
No, I think the weather's kind of kept everything quiet. There's been a lot of rain, but this job is so hit and miss. You just never know.
Sure.
That's why I love coming to work. You just never know when that phone rings. It could be anything on the other end of the line.
Sure.
So. Busy, I would say we're average.
Yeah, and again, the thing is, like, when people make that 911 call, and you show up, like, we're all just individuals that are going to work or doing whatever we're doing, and your job as corporal in the Muscatine Police Department is show up and help people, but you still are showing up as a person.
Right.
So you have to balance that. Like, I want to have empathy for people, but I also need to be a professional and be prepared to take action. But I'm assuming that you've arrived to calls that are tough, and that's where that balance is important, because it could be you just as easily don't want to take stuff home, and this is what you have one of those jobs that a lot of it can follow you home. But yeah, I mean, just talk about that. Like, this is more of like a lifestyle job than anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it not only doesn't it affect us as the police officers, but it affects our family. Being a canine, we're on call 24/7, 365.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, at the drop of a hat, if they need a canine for anything, we're one of two calls that they're going to make. So not only does it put stress on us, but it puts stress on our families. But doing canine, it's a family ordeal. It's not an individual officer's choice. If you don't have the support of your family and even your fellow officers in administration, you'll fail every time.
Has there been a call recently that, I don't want to say surprised you that they needed canine support, but is there an example of something that you can share recently where you showed up with Nero, or maybe it was Officer Rink with Jax, and they were able to help out? I know that they're doing a lot, but I don't know if anything has come up that we can talk about within the parameters of the law.
And don't quote me on this, but I do believe Officer Rink and Jax did use Jax to track a person with Alzheimer's.
Wow.
I don't know the specifics of it. I believe that the track was started. However, I think that they located the person before Jax could get to the end of the track.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken, you have to ask him. But
that's super cool. And again, these bulletproof vests are, if you're being protected, you certainly don't want to run the risk of Nero not having protection or Jax not having protection.
These are so invaluable.
Yeah.
I mean, as it is to us. Now, we don't put them on them all the time.
Sure.
You can imagine we get really hot, and they're full of fur, and they're pumping out body heat like crazy. So we try not to put them on all the time, but we try to get them on just so they're acclimated to it.
We have a great shot of outside the store up front. Oh, that's cool. So Ryan Broderston is up front, and we can see Officer Rink and Jax making the approach, and it's going to be interesting to follow them back to see if any customers get a little nervous.
Yeah, the good thing is to watch the people around Jax, because that's usually what.
Yeah, right. That's what'll be interesting. And I gave my coworkers a heads up. I said, hey, listen, if you see a police dog come in, don't be alarmed. Everything's good.
I work nights, so I try and bring him into businesses as much as possible. It's not as busy as it is now, but it's good to get the dogs acclimated to stuff like that, because then they get used to being around people, and that's what we want.
Jax looks super excited, sniffing things out, coming in the door now. This is cool.
As soon as you pull them out of the car, they're always looking for something to do.
Sure.
They think that we're pulling them out because they have a task.
Yeah.
And it's a typical German Shepherd, is to have a task. And he's looking, he's hunting.
Wow.
These dogs have really, really high prey drive, really, really good hunts on them. That's what we look for when we select dogs.
Sure.
And he's just wanting to work right now.
I wonder if he caught a whiff of that cheese he just walked by.
You'd be surprised.
That's a big old thing of cheese.
Food doesn't. No, they're great.
Cool.
Food, dog food, nothing really can affect them.
Super exciting. So Officer Rink is just about to make the turn here, and Jax will be right behind us on the set here at Hy-Vee today. We're talking to Corporal Patel and Officer Rink, who have canines, and there's Jax. All right. Hey, Jax. Wow, look at that.
A big boy.
Jax is a big boy. That is super cool. We're going to get Jax in the shot. If I need to scoot over, Betsy, I can scoot. Good job, Jax. Yeah. You can tell that Jax is ready to work. So, and obviously Officer Rink isn't mic'd up, so I can relay the answers. How old is Jax? He's 4 years old. Okay. And he just, when we were able to watch kind of as before you came in the door, looked so excited.
Oh, yeah.
Because probably a lot of new smells and stuff,
absolutely.
Right?
Anytime he gets out of the car,
Yeah.
they want to work 24/7.
They want to go 24/7, huh?
When we have days off, they wish we didn't have days off. They want to work constantly. So
Yeah.
anytime he's in the car, he's
Sure.
ready to come out of the car, he's fired up, he's ready to go.
Officer Rink saying that Jax would like to work 24/7. You can just tell that Jax is just kind of checking things out, right? But again, like the thing is, I don't feel nervous sitting here because I know that Jax is gonna, do exactly what you tell him to, and you can tell that you talk about that bond, Corporal Patel. Same with you and Nero.
Absolutely.
You can see it right here.
Yep.
Jax kind of knows what's up in a good way, right? He is your partner, but he also understands that he's going to do what you tell him to do or not do.
It comes from all that training, all the time spent together. Honestly, I could probably tell Jax to do something, he wouldn't really listen to me.
Interesting.
The bond is usually that strong.
Okay.
Specifically with Rink and Jax, they have a really, really strong bond just because the type of dog Jax is.
Yeah.
Nero's a little bit more independent, but
Sure.
I mean, these dogs don't really listen to anybody else other than us.
That's fantastic. And that's obviously important because in the heat of a situation where you're having to utilize the skills that Jax has, you need to make sure that they can hear you. And there's probably been times when both of you had to maybe get a little bit loud. And I love that we have a graphic for Jax. That's fantastic. Making his television debut here. That looks so great. But yeah, this is wonderful. So Jax is 4 years old. How old is Nero?
6.
Nero is 6. All right. So folks, the thing is, when you're out in the community and you see really any police officer or firefighter or sheriff's deputy, that's their job. They're choosing to do their job, and just like all of us, we want to go home to our families at the end of the day. Your jobs are just, again, we talk about how it's a lifestyle, and it's more intense, quite frankly. But it is just that. You're choosing to get up, go out, help people every single day, and we just want people to not, I don't know, I never got nervous around cops. My dad, of course, was one, but I just want my kids to feel the same way.
Sure.
And that's why I think the amount of activities that you're doing in the school district and just community events, we just had a big the Unity Point event last weekend. It was hot, but it was so great having all the different vehicles there because you just want kids to be able to familiarize themselves and to not be nervous. So I thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Can I pet Jax when we're done? Absolutely. All right, good deal. I like dogs. If you could train my puggle, Archie, at my house to not be a food lover, that would be great. Maybe Jax could take him under his paw.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that would be awesome. Archie's really good at smelling food. That's his thing.
It's a start.
Yeah, and having a goofy look on his face. All right, so Corporal Patel, thank you, buddy. It's good to see you.
Thank you for having us.
Officer Rink, come back and say hi to Jackson in a second. This has been a fun show, everybody. I want to say thanks again to Jan Slaughter with Community Action of Eastern Iowa for joining us. And I guess we do need to do the team staffing job board real quick, so we'll do that. And Jax is just hanging out. Oh, it's so great. Wow, it's super cool to have him here. So we'll do the job board, and then we'll wrap up quick. There's a great shot on the screen as well. I told you that we had a fun guests in store for Friday's show, and I definitely think we delivered. So let's see if there's some openings on the old team staffing job board if you're looking for a job or know somebody that is. This is TSI Enterprises, lab technicians, $19.55 an hour, process operations, $18.55 an hour. That's the kind of gig that'll change your life. You can apply in person or online at teamssi.com. Check that out. That is great. Let's see what else is on there. Mary has temporary general clerical opening. Give her a shout, 563-316-7634. We had a great time talking to our friends with Team Staffing on the show yesterday, right across from Happy Joe's on Lake Park Boulevard. And Emma has a weekend shift machine operator, $14.50 an hour. Give her a shout, 563-316-7642. Okay, friends, have yourself a great weekend. Thanks for watching the program. We'll be back on Monday with another week of full shows, and then the week of the 4th of July, we're going to do a show Monday, Tuesday. These guys don't even know this. We're going to do a show Monday, Tuesday, and then be off the 4th, 5th, and 6th. So take a little bit of a break since it'll be around the holidays, everybody. And I'm going to say hi to Officer Jax and wish you all a happy weekend. Stop out and see us. Got a lot of stuff going on. Mega produce sale, awesome wine and spirits one-day sale, and we want you to have a great weekend. So on behalf of everyone here at Hy-Vee Today, we'll see you on Monday, y'all. And if you need anything, you can always email us, hyveetoday@gmail.com. But for now, that's it. And I can answer the question, who let the dog out? It was Officer Rink. So somebody tell the Baja men that we have solved the riddle for once and for all. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We'll do it again tomorrow with more local guests from in and around the Muscatine community. Questions, comments, know a great guest? Reach out to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone on Facebook or via email, hyveetoday@gmail.com.